Hi friends, it's Connie, the late blooming crafter, and I know it's been quite a while, and I feel like I start out every video that way, but that's just life for me. So I did finish a journal I wanted to share. It's for my daughter who is engaged, and the theme that they've chosen for their wedding is wildflowers. So I made a journal for her that kind of has a wedding theme on the journaling cards a little bit, but decorated mostly with a wildflower theme and a lot of eyelet, as you can see. So I had this long strip of eyelet that I thought I would use. I just selected this just 10 minutes ago to close the journal. And I think I'll keep it because it just goes with the theme. And this right here, I purchased from Kathy's Garden Picks from her Etsy shop, and I believe that's a real flower that she dried, and I thought that went nicely there. And then um, the journal itself is made from like paper that you get something from Amazon, and then I used the gesso on it, and I've never done that before, and let that dry, and then covered that with some eyelet fabric, and then some ruffle and some paper pad paper and vintage lace, and then Kathy's little journaling card that I turned into a topper um, focal point. And then there's some peach ruffle eyelet on the papers, and the back has some paper pad that came from the same pad, some pretty lace, and then a card from the same pattern that I kind of used as the theme on the cover and on the inside and on the back that I covered the brown paper with. So it turned out a little bit thicker than I probably anticipated for this paper cover, but I still love it. Here's some cute journaling cards. I made everything and the cards, and then I came back and last thing I did was I decorated the cards. So they were made with I just cut them out after I covered them, this paper with this paper pad paper, and then just some embellishments from my stash and some ribbon, of course. I thought they turned out really cute with the wildflower theme. And then I think I purchased this tea stain paper from someone on Etsy because that's just something. I have some coffee stained paper that I'm still using up, but I need to save myself some time wherever I can, so I thought that would be nice to be able to treat myself to some of that. I hope you can see okay and the light's okay. I'll look back on this after I'm done and make sure. This paper came from Oldacina Anne, and it's where I was able to pull in the wedding and have that be a theme on the on the cards, excuse me. On the back side of that pink paper is this pretty digital, also from Anne. I'll put those on there later, I guess. I thought about covering this, doing some covered paper clips, but I think the plastic coated colored ones are kind of pretty, so I'm not sure. Some more paper, pad paper, and then a stamp, but I thought that was beautiful. And I had made this paper pocket that you fold and create into pockets quite a while ago, so that was in my stash, and I glued that on there with a little embellishment. And then decorated these cards. They turned out cute. And then this little journaling space also that I just used some paper and folded. more stamping. And then an envelope that I put in my signature. And I thought these turned out really pretty with that kind of, I think this is probably a vintage ribbon lace. And then I put on some embellishments there. And this card I just hinged on and used some pretty paper here for an edge, because this is one of those pieces of paper that's real thin but makes that nice sound we like. And then some more of that pretty vintage lace. More stamping with flowers. Lots of journaling space. She's communicated to me in the past that she likes these types of journals, but wishes there was more journaling space in them. So that was kind of my goal for her, was to create more journaling space. And more cards. And the scripture that talks about love is patient and kind and so forth. And then these cards I thought turned out really pretty too, with a little bit of white ribbon and a little bit of cotton trim, and in the middle I put a floral trim that you can just barely see through that, the white trim, to see the floral. I thought that was kind of pretty. And then some flat back pearls. Just, they were all attached. I didn't have single ones, they were just the strings of them. And this came from someone, this is also Anne's fabric, and one of the people that she works with, I ordered this, it came from something off of Etsy from her. She had already embellished it the way it is, and then I added this for my daughter's initials, and then I just glued it on just to, I could have used that for the cover, but I didn't want to. I wanted to stick with the wildflower theme. And then just a piece of paper in that paper pad, and then I believe these papers came from Anne too. They're digitals from Oldacina. Made a little scrappy pad for her. This has a cute stamp. It says, families are like quilts, lives pieced together, stitched with smiles and tears, colored with memories, and bound with love. This is the center of this beautiful paper from a paper pad. And again, then on, I'm not very good at making beads. I can't find any beads. I don't have a bead threader. I need to get one, and then I could maybe do better. But right now I just struggle to put thread through beads. So I kind of like doing these little hearts, and I make several of them and glue them together with the thread in the middle. There's some old music paper with 3 more cards that I decorated to match, but all just a little bit different. And it amazed me at how long it took. I did this one night after my husband went to bed, came in here and crafted for a little while. I think this, I shouldn't even tell you how long it took. It would be embarrassing. But anyway, they turned out pretty cute. Tedious work for my fingers. And then the stamp again of the scripture. And more cards that have just the prettiest, daintiest lace on them. I thought they were, that was just so dainty. And these digitals are from Anne also. And then I just used my stamps and just, I think there's 3 different ones here, just to make it look like a little bit of a field or a fence of flowers. And then this card that ties in with the center paper of the center of the journal. Flowers are like sunshine. They warm the soul. And I thought that was really cute. Little piece of lace I cut out and matched that. Made a pocket out of some paper pad paper and a little embellishment. And then on the back of this has an edger with a tab, a page edger. This came from Kathy's Garden Picks as well. It's just nice to have something to use that I didn't have to take the time, but yet is just really, really sweet. And I love everything Kathy does. And I don't need to take that card off. You can kind of see. I think it's, yeah, thought that was cute. Pretty button. This is one of my favorite stamps. I really like that. And then this was just one of the, it was the digital printed out on the tea stain paper, and I just cut the edges with a decorative punch. I showed this to my granddaughter the other day, and she absolutely loved it and said, "This must have taken you a long time." I thought that was very insightful. She asked, "How long did it take you?" And I said, "Hours and hours and hours." She has a clue, which is nice. This, I had put the love stamp right here, but it didn't quite look right, so I had to cover it up, and that turned out really pretty. Sometimes we've talked about that before. Our mistakes can turn into pretty good ideas or better than what we had before. This is one of the first things that I made a year and a half or so ago when I first started making junk journals. And it was from Kathy's Garden YouTube channel. And it was just taking a paper pad paper and making pockets and embellishing it, and then putting in some little things to journal on and whatnot. So I thought that went with the theme and the colors and everything. So just creates a little bit of interest and more journaling space. That's paper clipped on there, as you can see. And then Queen Rose, my daughter, her middle name is Rose, so that's appropriate. She's a queen. So that's my latest journal. I love it. I think it turned out really pretty. I hope she loves it and can find a use for it. She probably already has a planner for her wedding, because I know her, she loves to plan. In fact, I told her years ago she should be a wedding planner. But I thought this would be nice, even if she didn't use it to plan, that maybe she and her fiance can just write little sweet things to each other on the journaling cards, or just write things that are memorable in their engagement, however she wants to use it. I know she'll figure out something. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you are all well that are watching this, and that life is good, and take care.